With me is the master storyteller. Remember movies like Janam, Naam, Arth, Zakham, and the list is endless. And now we have Hamari Adhuri Kahani. Why is it reminding me of the Mahesh Bhatt of the old, of the 90s?
Because it is the stream uh, which had gone underground, which is surfacing with vengeance. Um, this is a part of me which perhaps did not find expression in the last decade. You saw it resurface in Ashiki 2, that Four Handkerchief movie where people went and cried and felt, that person we thought we had lost is not really dead. He's still alive and kicking. But Hamari Adhuri Kahani, in fact, is a look back at my own childhood, the days when I felt vulnerable with a single mother who looked after me, and looking at my own life and weaving, of course, a lot of fiction in it. But the heartbeat of this film is sourced from my stepmother, who was an extraordinary woman, whom I looked like an adversary, whom I looked as a demon. But then, as I inched closer towards her with the passage of time, I saw that magnificence persona of her, which I was blind to. And the essence of that has kind of been hardwired in this story called Hamari Adhuri Kahani. And of course, it's a tale of love of a normal Indian woman who is not emancipated in the sense of by the definition of the Western world. She chooses to live within the parameters of the prescribed traditional space. But how she also finds a way to assert herself. That progress, the process is so organic that it is perhaps more relevant than Arth was. Arth was a very relevant film in the 80s, where the woman, for the first time, revealed that she has this yearning to walk on her 2 feet, however shaky they are. But 15 years later, or 25 years later almost, if there is a film like Hamari Adhuri Kahani, it in a way revisits that space, but enlarges the narrative. It looks at not the well-informed, educated Indian woman, but also a woman who perhaps is in what the small towns in the lower strata of society, who's still kind of in the stranglehold of tradition, which looks at her as a person who should not allow desire, which she is born with, to surface, and she must push it down and be always the sacrificial figure, not of somebody who celebrates life.
And also, like Zakham and Janam were your memories of your mother.
Yeah.
So this is your stepmother's perspective. And as you said, you looked at her as an adversary. But now looking back, as you said, she was really not the demon. Was she a victim of the circumstances that she found herself to be in? An unavailable husband?
No, I would say that I'm not telling the story of my stepmother. I'm telling the story of mine and my mother, because the character of Vidya with a child is essentially a look at my own life with a childhood without the presence of a male figure, and how vulnerable a beautiful woman feels in this male-dominated space, and how she tries to kind of, plow through the day and keep the hope alive in the children. That's something which is stuck to my consciousness. But the truth which I have borrowed, which is the bedrock of the story, is the truth which I discovered about my stepmother, of how somebody whom I looked at as a demon or as an adversary, revealed that when push comes to shove and life really pushes that individual to a corner, she behaved completely different from what I thought she would. And there was a kind of largeness of the heart, which I thought that existed only in books and in fairy tales. So it was that I have borrowed, but not borrowed it exactly the way it played out in our lives, but that lived truth is there in the core of this film.
And also screenplay, you wrote the screenplay first and then it was adapted in a book. Usually it's the other way around, as you know,
You see,
usually.
I was writing this screenplay, and then I was talking to this unique writer who is called Shurita Sengupta. She is a writer who writes in English and also runs a beauty salon. And she says that she cuts with her left hand and writes with the right hand. And I ran into her in Kolkata during Durga Puja. So I was just consulting her because my story explodes finally in Kolkata during Durga Puja time. So I said, if you want to write about the mist, you must go through the mist. And since I was not familiar with Kolkata and that space, I said, why not ask her to help me with the scene? So I just gave her an idea what the scene is, and she kind of immersed herself completely, and she came out with something completely unique, and she wrote it like a chapter. And when I read that, and I said, oh my God, I couldn't have possibly explored the depths of this woman and nor the space the way she has done. And that's when the idea struck me that what if we convert the screenplay into a book? Because it's a completely different idiom. We have seen Dr. Zhivago being turned, the Boris Pasternak work turned by Robert Bolt and David Lean into this masterpiece. Why not have a screenplay which has the spine, the story, the essential characters, but give it to a person who is a person who writes in fiction, and ask that person to bring her own space to it. And that's what she's done, and that's why this book is out now.
And also, this could be a make or break film for Vidya, because after Dirty Picture, you had Kahani. Vidya didn't make some very good choices in the kind of roles that she chose. This could be a make or break film. And why Vidya, you felt she was like the best one to portray the lady in question?
This is a watershed event for Vidya and for Imran Hashmi. It's a love story of a unique kind. It's a unique love story. And it has a kind of grandeur which one has used to see in the films like The English Patient, or David Lean's Dr. Zhivago. Vidya was chosen because of the essential Indianness that was the prerequisite for this role. The woman needs to have that emotional quotient, which is the essence of this space. And I couldn't see anybody else but her who could perhaps give expression to what was embedded in a story. And there came a time when she was flirting with the idea of not doing because she wanted to go away and take a break. And I said to her, if you don't do the film, then there's no film. This film cannot be made without you. And then she saw that I was hell-bent on casting her. And that made her feel that she must give it all. And I think what she has poured into this film, and even Imran, it's both of them will be magical in this film, what I've seen of this film. And Rajkumar Rao, he is going to be the Joker in the back. He is going to be stunning in that very powerful role, which he's doing only because of me. I mean, he has now become a powerhouse actor. It's a role which is perhaps in screen time a little less, but it is the spine of this narrative. So I think three exceptional actors, and Mohit Suri is in full form. He has brought to this film his own world, and he has kind of given it a kind of look which I thought was so distinct and unique. I've not seen that kind of film that is with that kind of look in our Indian landscape.
And also, sir, do you feel that the best stories are the stories that you have lived? Because be it your cinema, I could start from Arth, Janam, there was Naam, then came Ashiki, and also which drew from something from your life. The best stories are what are autobiographical stories?
I think so. I think so. It has the pulse, the throb, and the beat of life. And in fact, you keep on telling the same story. You see, the first experience of a child is he's born of the mother. The first body he comes in contact with is the mother. So the heartbeat of my mother is the first sound. Her fragrance is the first fragrance. And that is my universe. From there, I learned my the lessons of my life even before I went to school, even before I went to the kindergarten. Somehow she had exhaled um, all the understanding that she possessed into me on a very subliminal level, like animals do. And so, in fact, I keep on telling the same story. In fact, the mother, the single parent, if you see even
Ashiki,
Ashiki, which was a completely musical love story, there is that a single mother and the son, and so even Zakhm, the child at home where there is, so somehow the childhood of mine, I found all that in my childhood. I was a stranger to my life, in that space where I lived. I was not like the boy next door. The homes that they lived in were different. And it's only when I started talking about my home and stopped pretending to be like them that I found my voice. And it was so simple that as long as you sing somebody else's song, you cannot find your voice. At the moment you sing your song, which is kind of pulled out from your own being, it has a distinct feel, and that's how it happens. So that's why even before I've said anything about Hamari Adhuri Kahani, people around who are familiar with some work of mine say, he's saying something which we liked.
Exactly,
which touched
and
us.
that's exactly what I'm coming to. So will we see more of that? And will we see you direct? Because now Mahesh Bhatt is the producer that we who grew up in the 90s cannot relate with that kind of cinema.
Well,
horror.
Well, I don't think. I think you could relate to Ashiki too.
Ashiki too, yes. I'm not talking about Ashiki,
so
but it's
I would say that I would say that this is a new, reinvented Mahesh Bhatt kind of cinema with a vigor of the 21st century, which only a person like Mohit Suri can bring, because the syntax and the idiom of today is something that he's familiar with. I can give my worldview, but it is he who has to go and construct it. It's like Sudita Sengupta taking my world and putting it in her being and then giving this expression through this book. Now, this couldn't have been achieved without her. Similarly, Hamari Adhuri Kahani couldn't have been possible without Mohit Suri imbibing it, metabolizing it, and coming out with what is here.
Is there a dichotomy between the Mahesh Bhatt, the director, and Mahesh Bhatt, the producer?
Not at all. I don't see that as a dichotomy. People see that as a dichotomy. I feel that there is a part of me which is comfortable doing movies which are according to market specifications. But there are certain movies which come out with the engagement of my heart, when I engage with myself. And those are intensely personal, and they flower like leaves coming to trees. You can't possibly run an establishment with this kind of luxury that we will write when you don't really feel like. There you have the publish or perish principle. You have to write a story. You have to put a production, on the floor, because you have establishment costs. So it's not possible for you to always go and bring a film which has your essence or has your fingerprints on it. And I'm lucky that even when I had given up on myself, a film like Hamari Adhuri Kahani flowered in my heart, and it's finding expression even in a book now.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.